From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBIC, the Primetime Capper, and it is time for the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles Live. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I hope you are feeling the same. And, man, it is Friday, Black Friday to be exact. I hope everybody enjoyed their turkey day yesterday and had got all filled up and filled and all that good stuff and enjoyed their games, because I know that all favorites won yesterday. Bills got their win yesterday. The Cowboys got their win yesterday, and the Vikings got their win as well too. Vikings were actually the only favorite that actually covered yesterday with the lowest spread as well too. So they literally handed you guys some charity with those plus 10s and plus 9s that they put out in the earlier games. And then, they tossed it up on us a little bit, but let's go ahead and jump into the first topic in hand, and that's going to be what happened yesterday. Cowboys get a big win versus the rival Giants to secure season sweep 28-20. Man, that was a good game because the Cowboys found themselves down 13-7 going into the half and wound up winning that game 28-20 and only gave up 7 points in the second half as well too. And that was a late garbage touchdown. So literally they went ahead and outscored them 21-7 in the second half, which was pretty crucial to moving forward here in the division as well too. They're trying to get to that number one spot so then they can possibly get the bye as well, because right now the toughest division in football is the NFC East. You have a 9-1 Eagles team, 8-3 Cowboys team now, a 7-4 Giants team, and now you have a 6-5 Washington team. So you got everything's looking up. But as we get into this game more and read between the lines, this game was a big one for the Cowboys. But a lot of people feel like it was one of those games where it was just where the Cowboys should have beat them 40-0 after coming off that big win over Minnesota on Sunday. Well, I think that what happened in the Minnesota game, they were poised and ready for that one, and they knew exactly how to come about it because they've had a lot of success against Kirk Cousins even since his Washington days. So they were ready for that game. Thursday, though, is a different look because you're going against a team that's actually a team that hates you and a team that actually has a lot going, that knows what you want, what you like to do, and what you don't like to do. And I think the Giants took a good advantage of that early in the game. But as the game went on, the Cowboys defense took it upon themselves to step it up so then the offense could get the memo to come on. That's how I see it, because I think Dak was forcing some things yesterday. And also I think that the play calling was a little too conservative in the beginning. And then when they opened it up, things got a lot better for the Cowboys moving forward. CeeDee Lamb had himself a big game as well, too. CeeDee Lamb starting to step it up and make some big moves as well. So, it is what it is at the end of the day. They did a great job of keeping their poise and keeping things together. I know a lot of people are ready to already crown the Cowboys, but not so fast. I think that we still have a long season ahead of us and everything like that. But the Cowboys are in good position right now. With the NFC being so light, it seems like when it comes to who's going to actually be the winner of the conference, the Cowboys have a strong possibility to get into the Super Bowl. I'm not going to put them in the Super Bowl yet, but the way that this is shaping up, the Cowboys match up well with everybody. You know what I mean? And they've already they've got 2 significant wins, even though the Giants aren't a team that people still are taking seriously, because it's just like, when's the bottom going to fall out? And it's kind of falling out now because the Giants have lost their last 3 out of 4 games. But it was a great game yesterday. The Cowboys, believe it or not, it wasn't as close as it looked after the midway through the second half, but it was still a really good game. And I enjoyed the fact that we had 3 games that were really competitive yesterday. It wasn't any blowouts or anything like that. So I do appreciate that part as well, too. So there it is. There it is. We move forward to our next topic in hand, and that's going to be Ohio State and Michigan. And this is what we call the game. And the game features a number 3 Michigan team and a number 2 Ohio State team at this. And this is the biggest rivalry in college, period, in college football, period, point blank. I don't care what anybody says. No rivalry goes harder than Michigan, Ohio State, because literally when you have to call your rival the team from up north, you don't even want to call them by their name. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, y'all don't get along at all. And so pretty much that gives the rivalry that much more of a greater look. And this is going to be a game that's going to be right at the top of the morning, 9 a.m. start as usual. It seems like they carry on tradition in this matchup where they start the game at high noon. You know what I mean? I said that this game really should have been reserved for a night game this year because that's how big it is. But I know that they just you got to stay with tradition. And you got an Ohio State team coming in here off of a very gutsy win over Maryland, where they did have to come back in that game, and they did get a look. It was much tougher than it was assumed to be. And that was coming off of a big win over Indiana, beating them up 56-14 at the shoe. Now they come back around. They're playing a Michigan team that was on cruise control as well, just dominating teams, and then ran into Illinois last week and wound up only winning that game by 2 points. Now, when I look at the differential of points right now, Ohio State is outscoring them by 7 points when it comes to the total. But the crazy thing is Ohio State's getting 46.5, Michigan's getting 39.4. So it's absolutely insane how these teams are scoring this year. Their yards per game, both teams are almost getting 500 yards a game as well, too. You got an Ohio State team that's doing very well in the passing game, almost 300 yards a game, and Michigan's the team with the good running game. They're getting almost 250 yards per game. So this game is about to be something else. When you look at the numbers, breaking it down, Ohio State has the advantage in the quarterback position. When it comes to the running back, Michigan has a slight edge because of quorum. But I would say the depth at running back is better with Ohio State. With the receiving corps, of course, it's going to be Ohio State. Their top receiver hasn't even played that much this season. So that's why Marvin Harrison has been able to step in and be absolutely incredible this season, getting he has 65 receptions on a season, 11 touchdowns, and is averaging 95 yards a game and already has 1,091 on the season. And, CJ has 2,991 yards. So literally he is 60% of those passes have went to Marvin Harrison. So pretty much big time stuff coming up here tomorrow. And I think that a lot of us are going to be very glued to the TV about this one because winner takes all, even though they do have to play in the Pac-12 title game. I mean, the Big 12 title game. I'm sorry, the Big 10 title game, the big. And, this one will be one that you look to and say, all right, how are we going to shake? How is this going to fall out? Ohio State has guys that they have 3 running backs right now that have over 100 attempts this year. And so really they're going to go to that option a lot tomorrow because I know it's going to be cold. I'm looking at the weather now. It's going to be 45 degrees out there. And then you got Nijiba, who's only played 3 games this year. Will he be available tomorrow? We will see. But I think Ubeka and Harrison are going to be huge tomorrow. And Fleming has been coming up real big lately as well, too. So they got a lot of things working in their favor coming into this game. And so I think that a lot of people will probably look at this one and say to themselves, okay, the game on with this. And, Tumalo has been awesome this year as well, too. 3.5 sacks. He has 2 interceptions on the year, and he also has a interception that was returned for a touchdown as well, too. Eichenberg has been really good as well, too. So, they got a lot of things going. And Sawyer is a guy that 4.5 sacks. You look forward to seeing what he's going to be capable of doing tomorrow as well. Now, Michigan on their end, they have a very good balanced system. McCarthy, the kid is decent. You know what I mean? That's what I can say. The kid is decent, and he should be. His passing will be the part that helps Michigan win if they're to win this game. They Ohio State already has their mind made up what they have to stop in this game. So I truly do feel like this will be the best game the Big Ten has to offer all season, and this will wind up being a game that comes down to whoever wants it more in the fourth quarter. But I truly do think that if it's a blowout, it'll be Ohio State. If it's a close game, it'll be Michigan. You know what I mean? But I really do look forward to how this game is going to really shake out. I think Ohio State is dominant enough this season to where they really shouldn't have any worries here at the end of the day, but it's still Michigan, and Michigan's going to be still is playing with house money after what happened last season. So we'll see how this one shapes up, though. Michigan, Ohio State, the game, it should be fun. I look forward to it. 9 a.m. start. So, don't call my phone when that game starts. That's all I can say. All right. So there we are with that. And then we have USC, Notre Dame, one of the great rivalries in all the sports as well, too. You got two teams that both had big egos when they first met up and said, you can't beat me, and they met up and they've been meeting ever since. Notre Dame, USC have been able to have this rivalry because they're both private schools. Notre Dame, the Catholic school, USC, the big corporation in a sense of Los Angeles. Pretty much is the gateway to LA success if you are a real Trojan man. You know what I mean? Because I've never seen anybody who was Mr. Man on campus at USC be a homeless person. Like, I just never seen that before. You know what I mean? It's really like creme de la creme when it comes to Southern California. It truly lives up to his name, University of Southern California. So you have USC coming in here with big pressure on them. You got Notre Dame up in here they've already recuperated the season. Their coach is safe now after losing to Marshall early in the year. I didn't know how the guy still had a job with Notre Dame, but Notre Dame continued on. They did not get rid of their coach. They understood that it was probably going to be a long climb back to the top, and they actually went through the motions all season and have had themselves a great year. Now, their last loss came to Stanford. Since then, they've been crushing, and they got one of their biggest marquee wins in the regular season in some time when they were able to beat Clemson. Clemson came in there as a big favorite, and they absolutely got crushed. As if people forgot Notre Dame, how Notre Dame acts at Notre Dame. So you've had a team that's won their last 8 out of 9 games, which has been very, very good for a team that started off the season 0-2. And like I said before, if they don't lose to Stanford, they've won 9 in a row. And this could be a different type of matchup. So you have Notre Dame ready to go ahead and make a proving point here against USC. And that win last week against Boston College was very impressive, beating them 44-0 as well, too. But they go back on the road, and they haven't been the best road team this year, but they got a good win at North Carolina, beating them 45-32. Got a good win at Syracuse as well, too. But then the last road game they had, they ran into some issues with Navy. But that can happen because Navy's an old rival of theirs as well, too. So you got some good things going on. So I think that USC comes in here, one loss, could have lost last week to UCLA, who came up short at the end of that. But you have one ranked team on the schedule right now that they played against 2 ranked teams. This is the 3rd ranked team that they're playing this season. They're 1-1 in this matchup, and you have this Notre Dame team right now who's 2-1 in this type of matchup. And Notre Dame, this will be a signature win for their new coach, for the program, and for the school moving forward, especially in recruiting, because believe it or not, USC and Notre Dame chase the same exact guys all over the country. So pretty much a lot of guys will be looking at this game and will make their choice on who the winner is as well, too. That's something that you always have to put into play as well. So that's what you got, and that's what we got here. So pretty much that's what it is right there. And I think that this game right here just really will play up to the hype. And it's a big day for Fox. That's all I can say. Fox has came a long way in the college football world. They went from just being a cable network just doing the cable games, and having, a pretty good conference game. Now they have some of the best national games and pretty much broke up the monopoly that was ESPN in a sense as well too, because ESPN, ABC for a long time had all these type of games, and it's crazy how it's gonna be all about Fox tomorrow. Fox is gonna have the biggest games in the nation coming on tomorrow. So Fox, you literally don't even have to change the channel when you're watching Fox tomorrow. So that should be a lot of fun as well too. So I look forward to all of that, and I think that we are on to something big here. And I think that a lot of people have to understand that we're at that point. We're at the final week of the season in college football, and this will be a very telling day. That's all I can say, is that it's going to be a very telling day, and hopefully it will be something that makes a lot of sense moving forward. So let's go ahead and move on to our next topic in hand. And I'm trying to get my Battle of Atlantis graphics up, but we do have Kansas and Tennessee going at it today. That should be a fun one. We have both these teams are very, I would say, very poised to make a statement here, in my opinion. I think that both teams have been playing very well in this tournament. Tennessee has been dominant, but they don't have the same pressure that Kansas has. You know what I mean? So you have yourself a Kansas team that's going without their head coach really right now, and you have a Tennessee team trying to prove themselves, trying to get some good wins in to start this year off. So I truly do feel like this game right here will be the best college basketball game of the day, not just because both teams are ranked in the top 25, but the tournament that these teams that they're playing in, the Battle for Atlantis, a lot of good teams in this tournament. USC, Wisconsin, we're going at it just a moment ago. And then you have the Butler's playing later on tonight as well. They got a good win yesterday against BYU. So you have a very good group. And I think that Kansas finds themselves in the Battle for Atlantis every season or every other season. And I think it's been a good tournament for them, but they still haven't won it. And I think that Tennessee will do what a lot of SEC teams do early in the year, shock the system a little bit and get everybody in this mind state that the SEC is going to be really tough and going to be really deep and all that good stuff. But Tennessee's been a good team for a few years now, and they always are a tough out when you do go to Knoxville as well too. So I truly do feel that this game tonight will be a good measuring stick for Tennessee moving forward. To me, Kansas really can lose and they'll still be a top 10 team. They wouldn't fall out the top 10. They'll probably fall to like 7 or 8, but Tennessee, they've already pretty much put themselves in the group. They should be moving up a little bit further, but if they're able to get a win here, they can jump all the way to the top 10 for this group. And tomorrow will be the championship game today is the championship game, I think. So, and this is the championship game. So this should be fun. This should be a lot of fun. I look forward to seeing who the winner is going to be. I can't wait for this game to start. So you guys make sure to tune in. This one will be on ESPN as well. So there it is, the CBB game of the day, the Battle for Atlantis championship game between number 3 Kansas and number 22 Tennessee. So be ready for that. And when I get back, we're going to jump into the NBA. So as I always like to say, you guys just hold on a bit, and I'll be right back to you in a moment. This is the Premier Sports Bet Show, the PrimeTime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another, and Nyquist, Also trained two-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune into Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, we're back with the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper. So let's go ahead and jump into the state of the Lakers. And the Lakers got themselves a very bad loss to me the other night. Pat Beverly has now been suspended for the next 3 games as well, too. What a big surprise, right? Pat Beverly, I'm going to keep saying it, he's a waste of time. Like, I know a lot of people are excited about him doing that Bush League move and everything like that, but at the end of the day, he caused the Lakers to lose the game again, because then you give them 2 points when you do that. I know you were coming to the aid of your teammate and all that good stuff, but I think that it was just a little bit like not the right time for that. If you don't escalate the situation, it turns into a better situation for the Lakers. It was a flagrant situation, and the Lakers the Lakers had it to where they could go ahead and shoot 2 free throws and get the ball right back. They were down 10 at that moment. Say they scored 4 points at the time, now you're down 6. So I didn't like that, but I didn't like the move. I don't like the fact that Pat Beverly is even on the roster, because it's a waste of time. I saw today that, they needed him so they could have a tough guy. It's somebody in the locker room that's very vocal and woo, 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 woo. I was like, no, the Lakers just played cheap. That's what they did, because when you get rid of THT and the other contract that they got rid of, I think it was Stanley Johnson, then you go ahead and shore up some more money, because you don't have money right now, because you're spending all your money on Westbrook, AD, and LeBron. Okay, it's that simple. The Lakers are broke. All right, and so they're doing broke people moves right now, trying to bring in names, but names don't want to be real. Names don't want to be here. So then they got to go over to DoorDash or over to wherever the hell they're getting their bench from now, to get players. You know what I mean? Even though they got really good players sitting down there in the G League, like Bryce Hamilton, a guy who's absolutely exceptional and a guy that would be very valuable to the Lakers right now. But, I'm not going to keep stressing about the mistakes that the Lakers made, because it's obvious how many mistakes that they've made this year. I think that them winning their last 3 out of 4 is a good way to get you a little excited about them not just laying down every single night, but they do have a breather tonight. They get to go against a San Antonio team that has been struggling immensely after a great start to the season, and they actually get San Antonio twice. And they did beat San Antonio by 31 points last week as well, too. So there's a lot of things that are working out for the Lakers on schedule, as I keep saying. They got back-to-back games with San Antonio on the road. Then they return home for a game against the Pacers and the Blazers. Now, both these teams have winning records, but those winning records are kind of like, okay, hot starts and good streaks. That doesn't necessarily mean that these teams are really, really good teams. They're very beatable teams as well. So we'll see how this one shapes up, but the Lakers want to finish this month right. I think if the Lakers can win 3 out of 4 here, they will go into the month of December 8-12, and I think a lot of those doubts after 20 games will be kind of squashed a little bit because now the Lakers can catch up. The Lakers have themselves a pretty long road trip coming up too, come December 2nd. That will run till December 11th. The Lakers have 6 road games at that point, and then they'll come back and play 3 home games and then 2 more road games, and then 1 more home game, and then 4 road games in the month. So the Lakers got a total of 12 road games in the month of December. And adding in tonight, 14. So that means that 14 out of their next 20 games will be on the road. So the Lakers had to prepare for which will probably be the toughest stretch of their season. But I think that being on the road will be very helpful for the Lakers, even though they haven't had a road win yet. I think that's going to actually stop. That's going to actually that streak's actually going to get ended tonight, to be honest with you. So we're going to see how this one shapes up and shakes out. But the state of the Lakers isn't looking too good right now. But you know what? We still got a long season. The Lakers aren't even 20 games into it yet. So, just go with the flow, right? Just go with the flow, correct? It's just the first quarter hasn't been good for the Lakers. That doesn't mean that the rest of the quarters won't. So it is what it is. We move forward, and let's go ahead and jump into the NBA for tonight. And our first game up is going to be the Celtics and the Kings. The Celtics and the Kings both riding high right now. You got a Celtics team that just got their streak ended, and you got a Kings team that just got their streak ended as well too. But they're playing some of the best basketball, period, in each conference. You got the Kings, who are now 10-7 after having themselves a nice little 7-game winning streak. They lost the other night by 9 to Atlanta. And then you have Boston, who lost the other night to Chicago, but they came back around and got a nice win over Dallas. So, they beat them by 13 at home. They got 4 more games to go at home for the rest of this month as well, too. So they got Sacramento tonight, which is a tough game, and which is going to be which is somewhat of a national game for everybody tonight. This game is actually going to be on NBC, but I think if you have YouTube TV, it will be something that you could watch, if you're in the Cali area, because I know I used to be able to watch Sacramento when I had that when I had the YouTube TV, but that's when I lived in Vegas too. So we have a team that has been playing so good in Boston. Boston has ran the month of November. They played really good basketball. They've won 10 out of 12 this month as well, too. They're 14-4 in the season. They're playing just great basketball, great team ball. They're not even worried about their coach that let them down, doing whatever he was doing in the front office. So, when I look at this game tonight, I tell myself, I think that, you got a spread tonight. I know the spread's not showing, but you got a spread of 7.5 tonight, leaning for Boston over under a 238.5. I truly do think that this game winds up being a really, really good game tonight. But I think that Boston absolutely runs away with this thing. I think the Kings probably got figured out a little bit. And if the Kings can't score a lot of points, then they're not going to beat you. That's just simple and plain. I think Boston understands that. So defense will be at a premium tonight on the Boston side. So I like the 7.5 with the Celtics. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, we got the Pacers at the Nets tonight. Pacers at Nets. This should be a fun one. You got a Pacers team coming in here 9-10. 10-7 actually. You got the Nets coming in here 9-10. And then you have, Kyrie back. Even though they've won their 3 out of 5, they didn't win. They lost literally the second game back with Kyrie. That became a big story about effort and all this other BS that, that the national media want to jump on. Maybe it's just because the Philadelphia 76ers are in their division and they know them just as well as they know themselves. So that's something that you can play into that game as well, too. And then you have the Brooklyn is looking to just get some footing because Brooklyn's about to go on a nice run. Okay, they're going to win 10 games in a row soon. And so when that happens, a lot of people, they're going to get a lot of people back on the bandwagon. They got Indiana, Portland, Orlando, and Washington to wrap up the month. Good thing that they have 3. This is their last road game until December. So they're going to be in good shape because they do have a 7-game home stretch coming up, and they don't have to go back on the road until they go back to Indiana on the 10th of December. So this team should start piecing it together, because I'm looking at the schedule and it does really favor them to go on a nice little run. Even though they got Portland and Orlando and Washington here on this final stretch, I think those are very winnable games as well too. And they're getting themselves a lot of good breaks. They're not playing any back-to-backs during this stretch at the end of the month either. So that's good too, because I can see that back-to-backs have kind of been an issue for this team, because they'll win Sunday night, come back the next night and lose, or vice versa. You know what I mean? But it all depends on what team shows up. You got a Pacers team that is playing better basketball, like we said before. They had just had their 5-game winning streak snap, but they're 7-2 this month, and they have, their last home game for a while. They got to travel out west, and they're going to be on a 7-game homestand. So they want to finish strong too. So when I look at the spread for this game, you got a spread in this game that's 3.5 to Brooklyn on the road, and over under a 233.5. I would say that everything's right on the money tonight, and I think Brooklyn actually does wind up winning this game, and it's going to be much closer than it looks on paper. So that's why I say I like the money line on Brooklyn tonight. We're going to spend a little bit of money on them, so it's all good. It's all good. They're minus 160. It's okay, but they're dropping down to minus 155. You possibly will get minus 150 by tip, maybe at some books minus 145. We'll see how it goes. But we'll move on, and let's go ahead and jump into our next game, which is probably the biggest game of the night, because it's going for the Central Division lead. You have the Cavs and the Bucks going at it, and the last time they played, the Bucks had their way with the Cavs, but the Cavs are seeking some revenge tonight. We all know that. I'm looking at the way that this one's setting up. The Cavs have won 4 in a row coming into this game after dropping 5 in a row, so that makes them 7-5 for the month. So it's either a lot of winning for the Cavs or a lot of losing for the Cavs from what it's showing. Then you have the Bucks coming in here, who started off the season absolutely epic. They started off the season 6-0. Since then they have went 6-5. So pretty much this is, I wouldn't say a tale of two teams, but they have won their first 9 in a row. But since that point, they've actually lost their last 3 out of 6. So, 3 out of 5 to be honest with you. So hold up. They've lost 5 out of 8 to be. So pretty much that's where they're at right now. And I just think that, they ran into a better part of the schedule, even though the loss to San Antonio was not a good loss at all. But we will try to see exactly where this game goes. I think this is a game that calls for the Cavs to compete very, very intensely tonight. I don't say they win, but the spread is a 4 for the Cavs tonight. I like that number because I like that this game can be close. So there it is. Cavs at the Bucks. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. All right, we move forward. Let's go ahead and talk about the Bulls and the Thunder. The Bulls and the Thunder are in a pretty good game, and Thunder have surprised everybody, 7-11 on the season, while you got a Bulls team that's 8-10. So, this game is an under-the-radar game. So these are the games I really like because, you really can't call exactly how these games are going to go, but you got a Bulls team that got me a good win the other night. Me and my clients, they did cover the +7, and they won that game by 5 too. Also got a good win over Boston on Monday night. So they're just trying to keep the good times rolling on this road trip that's going to last until the December 4th when they wrap it up with Sacramento. But right now they are just ready to head west, but they got to get through Oklahoma City first. And then it's Utah. Then it's Phoenix after that. And as I said before, they got Golden State, Sacramento to wrap up the rest of this 5-game road trip. So you have a spot for Chicago to just keep increasing on a season where they started off a little slow. Now they're getting it all together. Now, they did have a bad stretch this month where they lost 4 in a row. But since then, they've won 2 in a row. So you like the way that DeRozan is playing right now. You like the way that Caruso is playing right now. The Bulls are a team that's about to get motion. I don't know if they'll be one of the top teams in the East, but they're about to get motion in the right way. And I just think that they got a good way of showing that they're into being, that they like playing with each other. And I think that there's a lot of time left for Chicago to prove themselves and get into a good position this season. I see a team that can win 40, 45 games at least this year. So I think Chicago is poised for a big run, and beating Boston and Milwaukee kind of shows me that can happen very, very soon. So we'll see how it goes. In the Thunder, man, let's not forget about the Thunder. The Thunder, we're not supposed to be this good, but the Thunder ain't worried about nothing. They got a bunch of draft picks coming for the next 20 years, literally, because they gave up every big asset that they had to get those situations. But they're starting to come back down to earth a little bit. They started off the year very well. A lot of people didn't see it coming. They started off October 3-3. But this month they lost 4 in a row at one point. Then they lost 3 in a row. And this team is literally just going through the motions right now. They've lost 6 out of 10 this month. So actually 8 out of 11, 8 out of 12 this month. I'm so sorry about that. They've lost 8 out of 12 this month. So they're 4-8 on the month. So that means that they just, after that 3-3 start, it's just things have got a little different for this team. But it's understandable. They give up a lot of points too. So we're going to see how this one goes. I think Chicago has something up their sleeve tonight when it comes to the defensive end. So I think I could see something happening. But it's crazy that the Thunder only scored 94 points. They only scored below 100 points once this month. That was against Milwaukee on the 5th. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But that's going to be the Bulls and the Thunder. And we got one more game to talk about, and that's going to be – this is probably going to be the young guns game of the night. You got Zion going against Ja, 2 former teammates from the state of North Carolina. They play AAU basketball together, so that's very key. They know everything about each other. They were drafted at the same time too, with Zion going 1 and Ja going 2. So you got 2 teams that are destined to make their team's futures better. It's just you get kind of frustrated, though, because it was these 2 teams that got those 2 superb talents, and you just know that they're probably not going to stay with these teams long term, even though you got that feeling John Morant might be with the Grizzlies for a good 10, 12 years before he bounces. But you know how these players are. They all get to griping after a while anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But Ja right now, he loves playing with his team, and the way that they treat his family in Memphis, there is really nowhere for you to go right now. You know what I mean? Even if they would talk about trading you, I don't think that they would want to trade you. But you have to remember, teams like the Pelicans and Grizzlies are just arms dealers, just like the Thunder. They know that with the long-term situation, they're not going to be a dynasty. But they know with a short-term situation, they can get to the playoffs, get some excitement in their city, fill up the seats just a little bit. But once that aura runs out, people stop showing up. And then next thing you get is somebody griping about what team they want to go to. And then these teams just go ahead and rebuild. Once they have losing seasons, any of these teams, those superstars are gone. So they can see if they can continue the cycle of just having young players and not having to pay them a lot of money. That is that simple. That's what all bad teams do. So, they do this until they find a way, until they find the team that can maybe be that team. And so, they get it. You never get your hopes up in cities like these, to be honest. So it's a great game tonight. I think it's the best game in the group tonight as well, too. I truly do feel like this one will be a back and forth and will come down to the scoreboard watching. I can't pick a winner here. It's going to be real difficult. But I do like the scoreboard, and I think that the over is the play here. I think that this is going to be a show me what you got type game. So we'll see how it goes. And it's going to be on NBA TV too. So it should be a good one. So we'll see how this one goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But that's going to be Pelicans at the Grizzlies tonight. And I got all my plays for you guys coming up in a few seconds on the Talking Tickets. So you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper.
Now you and your Pick your horses and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into it, talking tickets. And up first, we have ourselves the CBB PrimeTime PK6. And if you guys see it today, I have all the tournaments up as well, too. I'm going to have the later tournaments up in a moment. The North Shore and the Las Vegas Classic, I have those up before 2 o'clock because those are our late tournaments that start at 4 o'clock. West Coast and bragging and boasting, one in Hawaii, one in Vegas. So that should be a lot of fun. Vegas Classic over at the Orleans, and then you got the North Shore tournament over at where the University of Hawaii is at. So you have the CBB PrimeTime PK6 92-1. I got Evansville plus 8.5 to kick it off. Then we got UC Irvine with the minus 7.5. We also have Hofstra with the even money with the plus 100. And then you have William and Mary with the plus 14. And also we have San Antonio with the 4.5. And then we got the upset of the night, Purdue beating Gonzaga. I got them with the plus 250. And I also have them as the plus 6.5 in that tournament as well, too. So we playing on both ends with them as well. So there it is with that. We move forward with the Celtics 7.5 tonight, 21-1. We also have a Nets money line minus 160. Then we had a Cavs plus 4. Then we're also going to do the under 232 Bulls Thunder. And then we do the over 227 Pels Grizzlies. So I like the way that's shaping up. I like the way that's looking. So let's see how that one shapes up and shakes out. All right. So we have ourselves the CFB Rise and Shine Pick 6. This is the early morning ticket. We got South Carolina with the plus 14. Then we got the under 55.5 with Michigan and Oregon State and Ohio State. Then we have the plus 35.5 with Georgia Tech. The over 53 with Coastal and James Madison. The Marshall, I'm going a little heavy here. I'm taking the minus 220 money line in that spot. And then I also like Kent State with the plus 170. That's going to be our dog of the day. That's going to be one of our dogs of the day tomorrow as well, too. So I go ahead and I end the final regular season with this group right here. This is the Dog Day Pick 4. Hopefully we can get this home. We got Memphis money line plus 165 against SMU. We got Notre Dame in their game against USC tomorrow. Hopefully they can come into the Coliseum and shake up the LA scene a little bit. Then we got Texas Tech tomorrow playing against Oklahoma, and a big day for the seniors. It's always a big day in Lubbock. Hopefully they can get home a big win for their seniors. I'm taking them with the plus 115. And then we finish up with Stanford plus 215 here in the BYU game. And I know that this is a little bit of risky business, but I think that after that bad loss last week, Stanford wants to come back and get themselves a big, big win here. But I think, hold on, did Stanford lose last week? No, they didn't. Not lose last week, but after that controversial finish, I think that they want to finish the season strong, and I got a good feeling that they can. So that's why I do like what I see with Stanford coming into the game. So that's why I like them with the plus 215. So we'll see how that one goes. We'll see how it checks out, but it should be a lot of fun. We should get ourselves a very, very good opportunity to hit this ticket. It's 46-1. It's not a big daddy, big boy, but it's good enough. That's what I can say, that it's good enough. You know what I mean? So it is what it is at the end of the day. And I just want to thank you guys very much. Want to also say once again, I know it's already over, but happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Happy Black Friday. don't get too crazy, spending up money, because you still got a few more weeks until Christmas. But you do what you want. You do what you want. But you can always invest in PTSI, and that will help you get some better Christmas gifts, some good New Year's. Have a great New Year's Eve party. So hit me up to become an exclusive client. We got the early bird special going. Very, very reasonable deal. You wind up figuring out that you're not even paying that much for a whole year. So, just hit me up. Let me know what you want to do, and we can go from there. But all in all, you guys can catch me on the Twitter at PopDiBiase. You guys can also catch me on Instagram at DiBiaseWave_. And, you guys just keep checking for my tweets. I got the tickets coming out all day, every day. So just, let's just keep cashing tickets. Let's keep winning. And let's just keep feeling good, feeling great, man. That's what life is all about. So as I always say, bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.